Frontline number 211T, King of the World. Producer Drazen and Fanning, director Drazen and Liu. Showtime 57:38, air date 11/6/84, WGBH Boston.
Major funding for Frontline is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Additional funding is provided by this station and other public television stations nationwide.
Tonight on Frontline, the horses, the jockeys, the players, all trying to win.
There's just no form of gambling that is so exciting as the racetrack.
The private world inside a public passion.
I'm already thinking a week or so ahead, and I cannot reveal this name, but on Saturday, in those betless races, I saw a horse that will make me king of the world.
Is in striking position. They're at the top of the stretch.
From the network of public television stations, a presentation of KCTS Seattle, WNET New York, WPBT Miami, WTVS Detroit, and WGBH Boston. This is Frontline with Judy Woodruff.
Good evening, I'm Judy Woodruff. For months now, the newspapers have been full of stories of front runners and also-rans, of races coming down to the wire. But our story tonight isn't about election year politics. It's about America's favorite spectator sport. And it may surprise you to learn that that sport isn't football or professional baseball, but horse racing. If you were one of the more than 30 million Americans who watched the Kentucky Derby on television last spring, you saw the pomp and ceremony, the public image of racing. What you didn't see is another side of the track, the private world of horses and horse players, a side of racing that's captured the imagination and sometimes the suspicions of a public always hungry for a winner. Tonight we'll take you inside that other world of horse racing, the sport of kings, and the passion of millions who would be kings at one of the oldest and toughest gambles in the world. The film is produced and reported by Irv Drasnin. We call it King of the World.
In this afternoon's 8th race, the Val Harbor Stakes, stretch number 8, Jamalia. Horsemen are reminded that the Seminole closes.
There are few places that bring together so many Americans so often as this place. There are few obsessions shared by so many Americans of different backgrounds and persuasions. A $15 billion industry and some 30 state treasuries depend on their willingness to take a chance, to risk their judgment and their money in a venture many believe is at least slightly crooked. What they're doing is thought by some to be frivolous, even reckless. By some as an addiction, even a disease, injurious perhaps to the health and morals of a nation. And by others like Andy Beyer as life's greatest challenge.
Gambling is, certainly one of the great human activities, but there's just no form of gambling that is so exciting as the racetrack. It's not just putting money on the turn of a card or the roll of the dice, but you are investing so much of your intellect and your ego.
That won't be his only investment today, not by a long shot, though long shots are his passion. Andy Beyer has an Ivy League education, a steady job, and no debts, which might contradict your image of the horse player. He's also invested thousands of hours on mathematics and history, which might change your mind about this game. Like the rest of us, whatever we do, he must know the difference between a mindless gamble and a calculated risk.
Limited $20 try key, 8 over 4, 6, 12.
They're at the post.
A $10 key, 8/4, 5, 6, 12.
Waiting for Jacquard and Chain Link Stream.
$15 tri-part wheel 412/8/346812.
There in the gate.
And 500 to win on the 8.
On this race, he's made 15 bets, costing almost $1,000.
They're off. Gallant Prelude is away fast on the outside. There goes Rigi Man from in between horses. As the field continues up the back stretch, Rigi Man sprints clear by 2. Monster is now second.
There's a tremendous amount of nerve-wracking pressure when you're winning or losing thousands of dollars during the course of the day. You know, the feeling of getting beaten at the wire out of, say, $120,000, which happened to me at Santa Anita last winter, or making great scores that might, for some people, be the equivalent of several months of work on a job, is a very high-pressure activity.
Come on, Early. By the back, Gallant Prelude and Razorline finding his best stride. And then it's noted with Romaldo moving up with Lord Darnley. And now as the field moves to the top of the stretch, fast.
Come on, 8, now hold him off.
Gallant
Jesus.
Prelude takes to the outside, closing in. Here comes Razorline. In between horses from third, farther back it's noted. Lord Darnley making his run on the extreme outside. Moving to the 16th pole. Fast Reason under a left-hand whip. Gallant Prelude, Razorline giving pace, 50 yards to go. And it's Fast Reason in front.
When Beyer isn't following even a losing bet, he's covering the track as a columnist for the Washington Post. 20 years after skipping his last exam as an English major at Harvard because he liked his chances on a horse named Amberoid more than he did on a poet named Chaucer.
What makes racing so special and so challenging is that on top of all the intellectual difficulties that are involved, the game becomes such a tremendous test of character as well as intellect. You know, dealing with all of the psychological pressures and the emotions that accompany the rapid movement of large sums of money is very, very difficult. And if somebody has a chink in his emotional armor, this game will find it and exploit it. I mean, if you're patient, impulsive, if you have even the tiniest little instinct for self-destruction, I mean, this game will bring out all of your bad qualities.
For centuries, man's fortunes have been linked to the horse. In war, in peace, in Devil's Bag, syndicated as a 2-year-old for $36 million. Maybe that's why $360 million was spent last year on 1-year-olds, and why athletes not much more than 5 feet tall and 100 pounds can also end up in the money. It pays, of course, to ride millionaires, like John Henry, who's won more money than any thoroughbred who's ever run. And sometimes it pays to bet on them. That helps explain why horse racing is America's #1 spectator sport, with an attendance of 77 million people. Why, against all the odds, they persist at one of the oldest tests known to man, assessing horseflesh. That's what brought the Vanderbilts and Whitneys, and now the bankers and syndicates to the races. At the track, breeding and bloodlines count for people as well as horses. This side of racing is familiar, the sport of kings and queens. If there's tradition and wealth, an elite of racing is here at Belmont Park in New York, the day of the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the field for the 65th running of the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Number 1, Slew Gold, trained by Sidney Waters Jr., the rider unhill Cordero Jr. And they're off. Desert wine on the outside.
But there's another side of the track, whether in the stands or beneath them at the TV monitors. On this side of the track, in less than 2.5 minutes, more than $1 million will change hands on this one race.
On the rail is in seconds. They round the far turn. The pace is fast. Bounding Bosk leads the way by a length. Slew of Gold second by 2.5. Playfellow is third by a length. Now John Henry has moved up on the inside, is nearest the rail, is in striking position. They're at the top of the stretch. There goes Slew of Gold on the inside. Slew of Gold has the length lead. Bounding Bosk second, and on the outside is Playfellow in third. Wayland Blade making up lots of ground with John Henry, but John Henry is still far back. Slew of Gold has the lead by 2. Bounding Bosk second by a length. Wayland Blade on the outside putting it to third. Wayland will overtake Bounding Bosk as Slew of Gold leads the wire.
It's a drama repeated over and over again, tens of thousands of times a year, every 25 minutes. That's how long you have between races to get to the window.
We have the 2 400.
The win.
When all the bets are punched into all the parimutuel machines at American tracks, they add up to almost $12 billion a year.
$20 box, 289, and give me 279 for $20.
At the track, as in life, about the only safe bet is taxes. State governments collect some $650 million off the top. That's why for most of America, it's the only legal bet in town.
Give me a $20 box, 27, 57, 67. Is that 120?
It may also be the most bewildering. It takes a computer to book these bets and a linguist to understand them. Even if you've heard of win, place, and show, what about quinellas and perfectas and trifectas that can be wheeled or boxed? Or the daily double, picking the winners of 2 consecutive races? Whatever you do, it's one bettor's opinion against another's. That's what determines the odds. And on this day at Belmont Park, one man's opinion that stands out in the crowd is Andy Byers.
As far as today's double goes, Andy Byer likes his double that he's about to give you so much that he was scared he'd be shut out, and he bet it already. I saw him run to the window and bet it. He says, I've got to get this bet down. Here he is, the famous writer, Andy Byer.
When you see a horse who has had everything his own way in a previous race and has earned a reputation or run a race that it really makes him look better than he is, and now he's getting overbet, you're supposed to take a shot against him. And I am going to do that with all I can muster in today's second race, because the odds-on favorite, Chopper Charlie, I hate this horse so much that they're going to have to drag me away from the window.
Byers eliminating a horse that won its last race by 20 lengths, a heavy favorite named Chopper Charlie. For a long shot, he says can't lose. Antigua.
To me, I mean, Antigua is an absolute cinch in this race. If one could get the morning line in this race to 15-1, I mean, it would be like going to heaven. I'll be happy to take 3-1. And in terms of the daily double, I'm just I'm going to try to get alive to Antigua. The doubles that Harvey mentioned that I ran to the windows to play were 1-3 and 6-3. But I mean, if you were inclined to take any other horses in the first, you know, I wouldn't talk you out of it. But Antigua's the horse in the second race, and we'll throw Chopper Charlie all the way out.
Humbug has the lead on the inside by only a half.
Antigua on the outside, moving into second, and Chumper Charlie between those two is third. Then it's Righteous Anger and Sionis only past the 8th pole. Antigua on the outside now takes the lead. Humbug back into second. Then Righteous Anger on the outside is moving into third. It's Antigua in front.
Beyer has given the crowd a winner, even if Antigua pays less than 3-1. But his own daily double also depended on the outcome of the first race, and a horse named Swoon.
And they're off. Away from the gate slowly was North Plain. They move past the stands for the first time. On the outside, Swoon takes the early lead by a length and a half, charging through second by 1, Tampa Town third, a length and 3/4. Then it's Dance Call a fourth and a neck, moving up on the outside, North Plain to be fifth by 2 lengths. The field heads towards the clubhouse turn, with Swoon enjoying a 2-length advantage.
Early in the race, it looks good for Swoon, the number 6 horse, and for Beyer. But in his heart, the horse player knows there's no such thing as a sure thing.
Toward the head, towards the inside of the 5th position is Dance Caller. They race towards the half-mile pole that way, and Swoon still leads 1.5 lengths. Charging through his second by 4, Tampa Town moves to third at this point. Dance Caller.
As the horses enter the last turn, Swoon is challenged by a horse Beyer hasn't bet, the 3 horse, Charging Through.
Finally, Beagle around the far turn, then goes charging through, charging up now to take over the lead by 1. Left ahead, Swoon is second by 4 lengths. Tampa Town is next in third. After that, Dance Caller fourth ahead. North Plain fifth by 2 lengths. Charging through on the outside, leads the neck, coming back to get his Swoon.
If the horse player's fate is to suffer uncertainty and pain, the horse player's salvation is eternal hope and a system. One way to look for a winner is through study, research, analysis. It's not the only way.
I find I win more when I play on a hunch.
On a hunch?
Yes.
What kind of hunches do you play?
Like if I get a dream.
I usually go by the name.
What kind of names do you like?
Like my grandchildren's names and my husband's name and anyone that I know.
Do you have a system? Do you have a method?
Yeah, I do.
What is it?
I can't tell you.
Anybody who plays horses got to be out of their minds. I ought to know, because I've been playing them for 50 years.
Who do you like in the next race?
Well, according to the thing there, it's the one. I don't know his name.
Is that who you're going to bet?
I was going to, yeah. Number 1. See, because on the morning line, he opened up at 8-5, right? So that means that's one of my plays. If he opened up at 2-1 or 3-1, I wouldn't play him. But being that he's opened at 8-5, I'm going to play him.
The decision to play him may depend on intuition, insight, or the information printed in America's highest-priced daily newspaper, the Racing Form. At the track, on Sunday and every other racing day, the form is known as the Bible, chapter and verse very much open to interpretation. Not so the tip sheets that claim to give you the winners, sometimes 2 or 3 in each race. Public touts sell their selections to a faithful yearning for something to believe in. And among the best sellers in New York is Connie Merjos, a clean-shaven horse picker known as the Beard.
How long have you been doing this, Connie? How long have you been the Beard?
I've been the Beard 9 years. I think it's 9 years.
What did you do before that?
I was a classical musician. I played the bassoon.
As a concert bassoonist, Connie Merjos played with Stravinsky and Stokowski, the Met and the Bolshoi. As the Beard, he plays the horses. First, he measures the distance from the starting gate to the track's electronic timer to get a more accurate clocking of each race.
54 less 3, 51 feet.
Then he measures the field.
Connie, what are you looking for when you're looking at these horses on the track?
Well, for one thing, you want to see if they come out nervous, if they come out wet, any change of equipment that they might have. Mostly bandages. Now, you don't want a horse that has been running without bandages, suddenly to come onto the track with bandages. Obviously, something is not quite right.
Have you ever looked at the horses before a race and suddenly decided that a horse you hadn't picked
looks exceptionally good?
Yeah.
Yes. A big move up, in other words, in appearance. And conversely, I've seen horses that I've picked that I wouldn't put a penny on because they look terrible on the track.
And you're keeping track of this for every horse in every race?
Every horse, every race, every day.
Who do you like in this race?
I like the 3 horse, and the one I'm worried about is the 12. To me, it boils down to a 2-horse race.
We'll see how you do.
What's important here isn't just how the Beard does, but what he does, how he watches a horse race. There are speed handicappers who use time and track conditions to define a horse's ability. There are trip handicappers who note where each horse is during a race, whether its racing luck is good or bad. The Beard is doing both.
They're at the top of the stretch. 3/4, 10 and 4. Donna's World on the outside, Woods had in front.
It would be unfair to judge the Beard on any one race, but he had reason to worry about the number 12 horse, Donna's World.
They passed the 8th pole. Donna's World on the outside continues to lead by a half. On the inside, Impressive Gift is second by 8. Then French Tab, Eastern Sun, and Little Old Catapane. Donna's World in front.
Donna's World beat the favorite, but the Beard wasn't through yet on this day of New York's heaviest recorded rainfall for the date. The wetter the better, the Beard said, for the number 8 horse in the last race, Free Saint. As the horses turned for home, there was neither sight nor sound of Free Saint until halfway through the stretch, on the outside, one horse emerged from the mist.
Pretty Pretense still has the lead. Gaining ground on the outside to challenge is Free Saint. Free Saint takes the lead. Pretty Pretense in second. Free Saint in front.
If the Beard can do it, why can't we?
Are you willing to put in 18 hours a day doing what we do? You have a shot then.
Otherwise?
No. No. The average person cannot beat this game. It requires too much work.
Too much work may not fit your idea of the horse player's life. Consider, then, this loft in New York's Greenwich Village. These scholars of racing labor 10 to 12 hours a day, absorbed in the smallest detail, preparing reports for a select clientele that will wager as much as $1 million a week. What's being produced here is a private tip sheet that reduces to one number the hundreds of factors used to rate a horse's performance for every horse in every race, every day in 5 states. Interpreting that number is up to you. This isn't the image of touts and gamblers made popular by Damon Runyon in his stories about the sporting life of an earlier American era, about dreamers like Harry the Horse and Hot Horse Herbie. But if he were writing today, Runyon might include Rags in the sheets, though Len Ragozin is Harvard 49, an economist and a realist.
I speak as a mathematician. When something is 99.999999 improbable, you speak of it as being impossible. But that doesn't mean that there isn't that little 0.1 at the end there. There are a few people that beat horses. Very, very few. You come to me and you say you're raving about a horse. And how fast does he run? Well, he runs a mile in 1 minute and 35 seconds. That's not an answer. It doesn't mean anything. Anybody who's knowledgeable would then ask you, which track did he do it at? 1 turn or 2 turns? How much weight did he carry? Which way was the wind blowing? What, did it rain? Was the track composition hard or soft? Did they plow it up that morning? Did he run around on the rail and save ground? Did he run around on the outside? Did a bird hit him between the eyes as he ran down the stretch? I don't know. All right. All these variables have been weighted out so that my figure is telling you how fast the horse would have run if all races were on AstroTurf with a domed stadium and no weather, you know. That's what we're giving.
What Ragozin gets for his sheets is $20 a day plus a percentage of what's bet by his customers, who include horse owners and trainers, a psychologist, a tax consultant, and professional gamblers. He no longer goes to the track, and despite his warnings, Ragozin believes you can beat the races if you go by his numbers.
The biggest winner that I ever had on my sheets was a professor who blew in here 1 year and blew out about 2 years later with $250,000 in his pocket, and he didn't know anything about horse racing. He didn't buy the racing form. He didn't. He came in here, he was dating someone that worked in my office. He said, "This looks pretty easy. All the work seems to be done in these figures." And we're all laughing behind his back. Wait till he tries it, you know. Well...
Is this what you set out to do in life? Was this your goal?
This was a very strange right turn, which was precipitated by an earlier left turn. I was working for Newsweek magazine in lowly positions, and the McCarthy era came around, and I was a Red, and I basically became an unemployable. To give them, I don't want to smear them, they didn't fire me, but it was evident that I wasn't going anywhere. And I didn't know McCarthy was a flash in the pan. I figured it was going to be like that all my life. I better find a way of making a living where people can't fire me. And that's when I took this turn. I never went to a horse race until after I had graduated college. I knew nothing about racing. I had no intentions of doing this. My ambition always was to write orchestral music based on American folk themes.
Here we out in California, well, Stewball was born. All the jockeys that rode him swore he blew there in a storm, man, in a storm. Well, bet on Stewball.
This is a 19th century folk song about gamblers and a horse of another color.
Old Stewball, he was a white horse, but those gamblers, they paint him red. And he win a very great fortune, just before he fell dead. He fell dead, man, he fell dead. Bet on Stewball, and you might win, bet on Stewball, and you might win. I said we out here in California. Well, Stewball was born. All the jockeys that rode him swore he blew them in a storm, man, in a storm. Well, bet on Stewball, you might win, bet on Stewball, you might win.
In the folklore of racing, old Stewball was painted red so that insiders could hide his true identity and cash a big bet. Such stories also are part of the history of racing. Drugged horses, bribed jockeys, fixed races. Inevitably, they raise questions about the honesty of the game. Every horse player has an answer, including Andy Beyer.
How is this game played? How honest is it? I think it's pretty honest, but let's say there's enough larceny that it is a factor that an honest man has to reckon with and deal with.
You've written about your experience at a small track,
Great Barrington. What happened to you there? I'm always skeptical of tales of extreme larceny in racing, but I went up to Barrington just because I like cheap racetracks with rock-bottom horses, and there I saw what had to be the most scandalous races I've ever seen. I mean, Barrington is kind of an extreme case. Even a former steward there told me that they should post a sign at the gate that says, beware all ye who enter here.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Al Vestro welcoming you to the 8th day of the Great Barrington Fair, a the longest consecutive running and annual fair in the United States.
The slogan used at the fair in Great Barrington, Massachusetts is the Belmont of the Berkshires. It's only a slogan. The beauty of racing also exists at the fair, at the first light of morning on the backstretch. These too are thoroughbreds, but not the champion 3- or 4-year-olds of the major tracks. Often these are ailing 13- or 14-year-olds who've run as many as 100 races or more. Few pay their own way. Many will soon be sent to the packing house for 35 cents a pound. If some of these horses are broken down, so are conditions on the backstretch. This side of the track can be a dangerous place for both beast and man, as almost any trainer will tell you.
It's kind of a rough game, I'll tell you. It's kind of a tough game.
How's it rough game?
Well, you know, there's good horses and there's bad horses, and it's kind of hard to bet. You know.
Is that the only reason it's hard to bet?
Well, there's a few others, but we can't mention them right now.
I mean, do you ever have any idea ahead of a race that you're in that you either are or are not going to win that race?
Yeah, you do.
At first, these trainers also were reluctant to talk for the record. Then they decided they weren't coming back to Barrington anyway, for more reasons than one.
And I also stay in front of my stalls all night long the night before my horses run. Because we've already had one that someone got to him.
What do you mean somebody got to him?
Somebody put a stop to him here at the barn before the races.
How do you do that?
With a syringe. With a syringe. And, you know, whatever they use, I don't know. And his neck is still draining from it, and we've had 4 different vets in, and all have verified it was from a dirty needle. So someone did get to the horse.
At the fair, there's no trumpet call to the track and no guarantee of what might happen when the starting gate opens.
Horse ambulance, please go to the starting gate immediately. The regular ambulance to the starting gate immediately. Men, there's a rider down near the far turn. A rider is down on the far turn. Now on the lower turn.
Stay right there, stay right there.
Sit there, drop that rope, will you? I mean,
Goes to the inside of the track. Fox County on the outside. Heading for the finish. Here they are.
It's not always easy riding at the fair or getting to the steward's tower to claim a foul.
She's going to claim it. We can't be there.
Even when the race is over, the result may be in doubt. More often, it seems, at the fair.
Around this turn here, you almost dropped Richard and I both.
Last time around the turn?
Yes, sir.
That's the one I told
Yes,
you.
sir.
That's the one we ran back.
Yes, sir.
Didn't look like enough, but we went back again. Okay, Mary.
Oh, man, we had to check our horses and stop him from running. He's coming.
Where's the other
right
jockey?
Over. Well, he didn't even hit the board.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. There has been a claim of foul lodged by the rider, number 7, against the rider of the unofficial winner in the first race for possible interference on the turn for home. Please hold all mutual tickets until the result is declared.
Listening to the tout, it seems all too easy. He trades on the innocence and illusion that go back to racing's beginnings. Damon Runyon would have known Clocker Dan and Marilyn George.
Thank you, sir. Hey, another good card today, winners. Hey, George got another one today. Here we go, winners. Hey, 7 more with a double. Hey, long shot winners here with George. Hey, 7 more with a double today. Thank you, sir. Hey, Clocker Dan, winner.
At Belmont or at Barrington, what every horse player wants is what other horse players might not have. An edge, a tip, inside information.
Hey, we got winners. Hey, sir. Well, I'll give you something good here. Here. Bet the 3 specials today. I bet that $100 double today. Slip me 10, you do all right. Slip me that dollar, you win the double. All right. Thank you, sir. Hey, Lucky George got the double again. Hey, we got winners. Daily double with George.
7-4. What do you like, anyone?
8-4.
I got 6.
And at Barrington, tips are found almost anywhere, even at a betting window.
That was close, boy. Couldn't get any closer. So what do you think? Any more tips?
Any other good one?
This one? I mean, the whole race. Huh? 1-4? For this race? Hit it.
Another way to bet here isn't by looking at the horses, but at the tote board, where late and rapid changes in the odds can tell you where the smart money is. We were tipped to the number 8 horse. 5 minutes before the race, it was 4-1. Then 3-1, 5-2, 2-1. By the time the 8 horse, Rambunctious again, neared the starting gate, he was even money. That pays $4 on a $2 bet.
They're in the stretch for the finish. McNeely on the inside. Rambunctious again on the outside. Those two are stride for stride. They are heads apart.
But it was the perfecta payoff, $30.20 for picking the first 2 horses that made it such a good bet. Horse players line up to bet perfecta races because they pay bigger prices. For that reason, too, they also tempt someone wanting to fix a race. If you know that certain horses won't finish in the money, especially favorites, you can bet combinations on all the other horses in the race, and especially if they include a long shot, you can collect a big payoff. At Barrington, there were several perfecta races each day, and at least one of those races hadn't gone unnoticed by trainers on the backstretch.
Hey, does anything ever happen in races here that make you suspicious?
Yeah. It has to be by the way the betting is done. It isn't all the public that's doing that, you know. Like the other day when they had that perfecta, the horse paid $49 to win, and the perfecta only paid $43. That's ridiculous.
What does that tell you?
It tells me that someone bigger than we are betting a lot of money, whether it's...
and controlling the races?
Someone's controlling them. Someone's trying to control them.
And they're off. Showing quick foot from the outside.
One problem for anyone trying to fix a race is the payoff. If enough money is bet on any combination of horses, it will distort the odds, drive down the price, and arouse suspicion. Someone drove down the price at Great Barrington on September 21st, 1983, in this race.
They come off the turn for the first time. Your leader is Stone Bellins.
I remember the race because I was a steward at the time. And there was a very strange betting pattern. But we in the stands could not see anything wrong with the race. We reviewed the films, and it just looked, everything was above board.
That race was looked into, was investigated?
Oh, yes, yeah. Whenever there's an unusual betting pattern, then that's when we start investigating.
And you would call that unusual?
Oh, yeah.
Herman Slim Summers should know. He's worked at racetracks more than 40 years, and he was in charge of racing at Great Barrington.
When you see an unusual betting pattern, if there is some kind of manipulation of a horse race, who is doing it? Who's profiting by it?
Evidently, a person or persons that are heavy gamblers trying to create a coup.
Do I think they're fixed? Yes, I do think they're fixed. Why didn't I do something about it? Yes, we did do something about it, but we didn't have the time to put together the facts to be able to apprehend those individuals involved.
James Mosley was a member of the Massachusetts Racing Commission at the time. He also remembers that perfecta race and has come to his own conclusions about it.
In my opinion, it certainly, it's conceivable that it wasn't fixed. Let me put it that way. So in other words, yes, I think it probably was. I think there was some hanky-pank that went on.
Have you ever had a horse run and lose that you thought should have won the race?
Oh, yeah, lots of times. You can't come right out and accuse a jockey of holding a horse, because it's hard to tell sometimes.
But you sure hear a lot of those stories around here.
Yeah, you do.
What I hear you saying between the lines is that somebody sometimes at least knows something about how these races are going to end up.
I say most of these gimmick races are all, that's the ones they try to fix. Guaranteed they do. And it's not only this track, not only here, it's probably other tracks too that they, you know, you got two horses and usually if you can get the right horse in second, you'll get a better price as a perfecta than you would if you bet the horse outright to win, you know.
They're on the last turn. Stone Balance has it by 5 lengths.
About all that's known for sure about this race at Great Barrington is that the winning horse paid $49, but the payoff for the first two horses was only $43, and that it should have been much more.
Stone Balance in front.
Based on our parlay system, that horse, that exacta, with the $49 horse on top, should have paid approximately $200 or better. With a $43 payoff, you know some big money went down on that exacta. Maybe possibly thousands of dollars were won on that particular exacta. We'd like to know about that.
In New York, betting patterns on perfecta races, also called exactas, are being closely watched for what here is called a bad payoff. In this basement office at Belmont Park, Detective Joe Palmerico is charting the bets being made on a perfecta race. If he sees anything unusual, he says he's got to suspect that someone is trying to fix a race. It's happened before at big tracks where there's big money.
Are there some big bettors out here?
Oh, definitely.
What's a
You
big
got
bet?
$2,000 a race, $1,500, $5,000. You have I say you have professional gamblers. They may go for $10,000 a day with no problem.
The New York Racing Association now spends $11 million a year just to police its tracks. It wasn't always that way. The association's internal security force now includes an investigative unit run by former New York City detectives who weren't brought in until after a race-fixing scandal during the 1970s.
We've looked at the matter, we've investigated it ourselves, we've interviewed over 100 people right here in this office. It's true, it's after the fact, in fact, perhaps several years after the fact. But I don't feel it was as widespread. People have this image of illegal racing running rampant during that period. It wasn't quite that. There were a number of selected races that we feel at this point were fixed, but it wasn't as rampant as people might think.
It's important what people think, especially legislators and horse players. But there's more than reputations and credibility at stake here. Every racing day in New York, the money is counted and weighed. If even one bill is missing, it will show up on this scale. Every racing day, millions of dollars move in and out of the track's money room, in and out of the pockets of horse players, enough of whom think the game's honest enough to keep coming back to the races.
I'm the happiest person I know. Every day when I pick the racing form off my front stoop and sit down with it. My life is, is full of excitement and challenge, and as long as I can do that and I'm ambulatory enough to get to the betting windows, I'm going to be happy. I mean, there are just so many people who go through their lives without a fraction of the kind of excitement and challenge that I get every day. I can't imagine doing anything else.
There are times when Andy Beyer does nothing else, as at the start of a new racing season in Florida. It's one of his major betting efforts of the year. We went along for the ride, which with a horse player's memory, he knows can be a roller coaster.
I had one period at Saratoga a couple of years ago where in like the first 10 days of the meeting, I lost $22,000, and I sat down with the racing forms for that period to say, what's going on? And I came to the conclusion I was doing everything right. This was just one of those random chains of events that was undoing me.
How did you end up at that meet where you were losing?
I won $20,000. I made an admirable comeback.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hialeah Park is proud to present the Flight of the Flamingos.
There is more to horse racing than just money. An aura, a spectacle, a magnetism that draws the crowd not only to the betting window, but to the rail.
In between horses, Night Shift is right there along with Pecos Dream. On the far outside, Mac the Sailor as they race for the first turn. It's Night Shift on the rail and with the lead by ahead. Pecos Dream pressuring the pace from the outside as Asked to Run slips through on the inside, quickly grabbing the lead. Asked to Run now in front by ahead. Night Shift.
There's the risk in controlling 1,000-pound animals specially bred for hundreds of years. Bred for speed and stamina, but also for courage. There's the setting of bucolic splendor.
Is seventh and moving through in between horses, followed closely by Susie's Table. Then a gap of 4 back to Garrigan.
There's the heart-pounding uncertainty, the glory of the race, to the finish.
Move now as the field turns for home, and they're at the top of the stretch. Rising Raja in front by ahead. Pecos Dream attacks on the outside second. Garrigan is right there third. Susie's Table with the late move toward the inside, and Mac the Sailor. Then farther back, it's Ready to Prove, and they're in the last furlong. On the outside, it's Pecos Dream. Rising Raja is not through yet. Those two matching strides. Here's a late move by Susie's Table, and here's the wire. Pecos Dream.
And there's the money. Not as money alone, but as the vindication of a horse player's judgment. And there's the test of character. A man trying to control fate and himself. Taking chances he's calculated can beat the odds.
Come on with him, baby. Come on, 4. Come on with us, 4.
Knowing that to beat the game, he not only has to pick the right horse, but make the right bet.
Was there a lesson to be learned in that race?
I'm not sure if there was a lesson. I mean, in a perverse sense, I was pleased by the result because, I mean, the horse that I liked lost, and I won $900. You can't win them all if you're looking for a profound lesson. But, if when you're wrong, you can, anticipate the ways in which you're likely to be wrong and still at least save your ass or even make a profit, as in this case, I'm really pleased. I mean, I'm going to hit the home run ball, a certain amount of the time, and I don't expect to do it all the time. But, a profitable result, I breathe a sigh of relief at this result, at least.
Beyer's a working man, remember. He must write and send his column to the Washington Post. He never misses a deadline or a race. For him, this too is work. And so far, he's earned almost $10,000 in less than a week at the races. He's going for $50,000 in as many days.
$10 part wheel, 149/149/612. A $10 part wheel, 19/.
You don't have to understand what he's saying to understand what he's doing. Even when his track record was on the losing side, he never stopped gambling, never stopped believing that this time, this race, based on what he'd learned and a little luck, he'd be a winner.
And $20 Perfecta box, 149.
And to win, he knows he must manage his money and his emotions.
Come on with this 4. Come on, Canessa. Once in your life. Come on, baby. Come on, 4. Come on, 4. Come on, 4. 941. Oh, get up. Oh, Jesus. There are just going to be plenty of times when, you know, your best laid plans will go astray. This game is complex enough that nobody's going to be right all the time. Very few, I mean, you're not even going to be right 50% of the time.
Which is perhaps as much as anyone can hope for, which is enough to win if you know how to play the odds. To do that, Beyer must be willing to stand by his convictions, and when necessary, to go against the crowd, looking for a winner, knowing there'll be days like this.
If you had to write about this day, what would you say?
It's just another testament to the glorious uncertainty of the turf, as someone called it. I mean, this is just another day. It happened to be a losing day, in which there were, there are a lot of bad things that can happen in this game that you have no control over, and a lot of them happen today. I will not lose sleep tonight over this day's events. I mean, these were just 10 more races in the long continuum of my gambling life, and neither I nor any gambler can afford to get too upset by relatively minor reversals like this. I mean,
how minor was this reversal today?
$2,472.
There's a popular saying at the track, you can beat a race, but you can't beat the races. That won't stop millions from trying, from lining up at the betting windows each new racing day, no matter what the odds. Like Andy Beyer, they will suffer reversals. Unlike Beyer, the great majority will discover that gambling doesn't pay. At the end of the day, like this horse player, most will still be looking for a winner, even among the thousands of losing tickets that litter the floor of the grandstand. But it's possible that something besides money or weakness brings them back for more. Something in the human spirit, a need to look ahead, to go on to the next race.
What do you like for tomorrow?
Well, there are 10 tomorrow. It unfortunately isn't too glorious a card, but I mean, I'm already thinking a week or so ahead, and I cannot reveal this name, but on Saturday in those betless races, I saw a horse that will make me king of the world.
Andy Beyer went to Florida last winter hoping to win at least $50,000. He won't say exactly how he did, but he says he wasn't disappointed. However, Beyer did not go to the Great Barrington Fair this fall. The Massachusetts Racing Commission has revoked the fair's license. As for the horse Beyer said would make him king of the world, it lost its next race. But neither Beyer nor apparently the horse gives up easily. A few days later, the horse did win, helping Beyer to his biggest winning day that winter. But in June at the Belmont Stakes, Beyer had even better luck, making what he calls a healthy year's salary in one day at the races. And later this month, the Breeders' Cup Series at Hollywood Park in California will be worth more than $1 million a race for horse owners. The horse players will be there, including Andy Beyer. Next week on Frontline,
we belong to two camps that have been in a bitter strife for the last 60 years.
They should be enemies, but instead a Palestinian and an Israeli come to America with a message of unity.
We would not have been together if we don't belong to the same camp of peace and justice.
In synagogues and universities, they confront the emotions, the politics, and the possibility for peace on the West Bank.
What you are saying means that we have to decide who is right with the force of guns. You want to do it? You want to have war?
Guns, blood.
To my mind, the Palestinian problem is a Jewish problem.
This is unholy war.
Two men with a mission, the Arab and the Israeli.
Good luck.
that's next week on Frontline. I'm Judy Woodruff.
For a transcript of this program, please send $4 to Frontline, Box 322, Boston, Massachusetts, 02134. Frontline is produced for the Documentary Consortium by WGBH Boston, which is solely responsible for its content. Major funding for Frontline was provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Additional funding was provided by this station and other public television stations nationwide. For videocassette information about Frontline, write to PBS Video, Box 8092, Washington, D.C., 20024.